Ross Chastain wins the race, Ryan Blaney wins the championship, and the legend Kevin Harvick says goodbye. All that and more. Let's get into it. Coming up next. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. All right, first things first, Ross Chastain wins the race. And since NBC didn't show it, massive whiff on their part, here's Ross Chastain smashing the watermelon. He also, according to tweets, went up into the stands and hung out with friends. Race win number 2 on the season for Ross Chastain. I think that makes it like 4 or 5 in the last 2 years for the watermelon man. So good race for him, good race for Trackhouse. He becomes the first driver in the whatever this playoff era is now, to spoil the result of the final race, getting the win. Previously, all the other champions of that season had won the final race, so Ross Chastain becomes the first spoiler, and even though he didn't get any recognition on TV for doing it until after about 2 or 3 segments of Ryan Blaney being the champion, he is the winner of the Phoenix race. And so yeah, a lot of people were up in arms about that. It was a whiff, in my opinion, on NBC's coverage. All right, let's get to the champion. Ryan Blaney, he won 3 times this season. He was the 12th seed. This is the longest shot since we've had the this format of the playoffs from 2016 or whatever, whenever they implemented this version of it, or 2014, somewhere in there. But anyway, he becomes the lowest seed to win the championship, and it proves the point. In the last 6 years, Penske has half of the titles, 3 titles. So it also proves the point that Ryan Blaney and Penske, or just Penske in general, have this particular format figured out, much like the original Chase Hendrick had that particular format figured out. So Penske's got it on a roll here. Back-to-back driver championships. Last year, Joey Logano. This year, Ryan Blaney. And a huge win. I think it's a pretty popular win. Now, a lot of people are going to talk about they don't like the format, but I think that's in poor taste. Not to talk about it, but to talk about it right now. Just because you're unhappy that Ryan Blaney won the championship, this isn't the time to bring that up. So we'll bring that up next week. I'll talk about that next week. So I'm going to let him celebrate the championship for a week, and then I will talk about the format, because a lot of people are up in arms about the format once again, so we will address that. But this is a day or a week we should celebrate Ryan Blaney being the champion, because he had the same rules laid out at the beginning of the season for everybody. Everybody knew the rules, how the format was before the season starts. So Ryan Blaney is your legitimate official champion, and if you want to talk about the format, we can do that next week. But this should be, of course, the week where you celebrate the champion, who is YRB. Of course, before we move on, you can't talk about Ryan Blaney and Ross Chastain without mentioning they were the fastest 2 cars on the track, and they threw a heck of a battle with each other, culminating in Ryan Blaney rear-ending Ross Chastain at one point. And let's see what they had to say about how they raced each other. This from Alan Cavanna. Ryan Blaney talking about Ross Chastain. Effing right, I hit him on purpose. He blocked on purpose 10 times. To which Ross Chastain had this to say: I knew he was mad. I did not care then. I do not care now. So Ross Chastain continues to be unconcerned about that particular issue. Look, Ross Chastain was racing for the win. He had every right to race for the win. Ryan Blaney was racing for a championship, and contrary to popular belief, I did see, several people talking about, oh, it's a sad state of the sport when somebody should be happy about getting second. Well, it's been there forever. I remember championships with Dale Earnhardt where all he had to do was finish like 28th or something, and that was all he was concerned about that day, because the bigger picture is the championship. Brett Griffin was one of the ones who tweeted stuff like that out. So, I mean, the bigger picture is the championship. The sport has always been this way on the last race. So if the championship is the most important thing, which it should be if you're not a moron, then yes, finishing second is okay, because the bigger deal is the championship, and the sport has always been this way. So all the crab apples who were like, oh, you should never be happy with finishing second, he should have gone for the win. No, Ryan Blaney was driving like an idiot right there, in my opinion. Like, the main deal is the championship. Win the championship. Don't worry about winning the race. All you got to do is stay in front of the other cars. Either way, that was the only like down spot in that moment that Ryan Blaney almost lost his temper and could have cost himself the championship, because as you just saw from Ross Chastain doesn't care. What a team, what a run. That from Stewart Haas Racing and Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick turns his final laps at Phoenix Speedway, his final laps as a full-time NASCAR Cup Series driver. He goes into retirement after a career that spanned over 2 decades. In fact, his winning, where he won his first race to where he won his last race, spanned over 21 years. That puts him in elite company with only a handful of other drivers, some of which being Dale Earnhardt Sr., Richard Petty, so on, so forth. So amazing career for Kevin Harvick. I don't think I need to sing his accolades. People know who Kevin Harvick is. They know what he did for the sport and will continue to do for the sport as part owner of the Cars Tour. So not only did he do everything you could do in the sport of NASCAR Cup Series racing, he is also now in a position where he is giving back and developing younger racers to get them to the next level as well. So nothing more I can really say about that. And as for the rest of the race, Kyle Larson put up a valiant effort. He had a short-run car. He couldn't get enough track position or hold Ryan Blaney back. The Penske team had this particular race in hand. But Kyle Larson put up a valiant effort. It's a bad day for Christopher Bell, so he would be the bad race of the day. The rotor blew. Don't know what exactly happened, if he overused it or if it's just a defective part or whatever. But bad day for him. William Byron had the pole. He did pretty good early on, but never could keep up with adjustments. The Hendrick cars just didn't have the speed for the 12 cars. So once again, kudos to the 12 team. And last race for Aric Almirola. So Aric Almirola finally retiring. He was going to retire last year. I think he did Stewart-Haas solid and came back this year. So final race for Aric Almirola. No slouch at all. A very solid race car driver, good race car driver. Nice fan base there, so he will be missed as well. And the last race for LiveFast Racing, that charter goes over to Spire now. They will, if they keep doing it, they will be a part-time team. So the LiveFast deal as a full-time team, they did their best, but at the end of the day, they had to sell their charter, allegedly. So this is the last race for LiveFast. All right, and one final thing before I go. I wanted to put Cabba up here because he is a huge Ross Chastain fan. If you're a Ross Chastain fan and you're not following Cabba NASCAR on Twitter, you're missing out, because when Ross Chastain won this race, this was his celebration.
Ross Chastain, you're the only man to play Cup spoiler to the Championship 4 in the NASCAR Cup Series. Let's go! Yeah!
And that's as positive as it gets. That guy's just super happy for his race car driver, so good on him. I wanted to end this on a positive note. As we jump into the off-season, I'll keep these videos going, so stay tuned. If this is your first time to the channel, of course, I would love to have your subscription. If you're already subscribed, you know I appreciate you guys as well. If you got a question, comment, or anything like that, leave it down in the comment section. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace. We do have a Discord server now, the Baloney Stand. So if you're on Discord, I know a lot of people have wanted me to start a Discord. I didn't start it. I had one of the members of the channel start it. So check out the Discord if you're into that. And there is the merch site, of course. So if you want to help out the channel, the link is in the description. So check it out. All right, I'm really gone now. Happy off season.